This is Part 3 Episode 6. All the Yuan power in the bazaar instantly raged. Meanwhile, waves of powerful Yuan power shockwaves violently swept forth from within Lin Dong's body, just like a hurricane. The shockwaves, that were able to rival a half-stepped nirvana practitioner, instantly caused countless people's expression to change. Such a formidable shockwave. What martial arts is that fellow actually using? It can actually cause such a commotion. Such a commotion, even some mid-level manifestation martial arts cannot match up against it. Don't tell me that fellow actually possess high-level manifestation martial arts. High-level manifestation martial arts. Even Jin Mu does not possess it. Where did that fellow come from? How could he actually possess such a powerful martial arts? Countless whispers instantly erupted in the bazaar, while countless bewildered stares were cast at Lin Dong. Evidently, they never expected that the latter could cause such a commotion. Even if you possess powerful martial arts, you are still unable to breach the gap between us. You do not have the qualifications to own such a powerful martial arts. You had better surrender it obediently, and perhaps I may spare your life. Jin Mu was also shocked by this sight. Promptly, thick greed flowed into his eyes. With a chuckle, his figure flashed before it directly fused with that large glowing elephant. Instantly, savage shockwaves continuously swept forth. Evidently, right now, Jin Mu had pushed his Yuan power to his maximum. Though he was at half-step to nirvana, even as he faced such a powerful martial arts, he did not dare to be negligent. That large glowing elephant stood upright in mid-air, while an earth-shattering and terrifying aura swept forth. Meanwhile, due to that formidable pressure, the ground below directly cracked apart. Following which, the nearby spectators hastily retreated. All of them knew that the two of them were in an intense fight, and if they were dragged in, they could only blame themselves. Saint Elephant Sky collapsing knock. Jin Mu's body had fused perfectly with that large glowing elephant. Right now, his aura had been pushed till its maximum. Promptly, with a deep growl, countless resplendent light beams erupted from above that large glowing elephant. Then, with footsteps that could shake the heavens, it charged towards Lin Dong. Bang! Wherever that large glowing elephant passed by, the ground below cracked apart, while the surrounding air were all directly blown apart. Meanwhile, resplendent glows with an destructive aura, that could not be described with words, enveloped Lin Dong. Amidst that resplendent glow that filled the horizon, Lin Dong still stood quietly at his original spot. Meanwhile, all the Yuan power in this body began to rage. Following which, his finger finally erupted slowly, just like a volcano. Great desolate imprisoning heavenly finger, fifth finger moving the universe. While all the Yuan power in this domain raged, a cold and domineering shout echoed out. Following which, a golden glow faintly undulated on Lin Dong's kin. As that golden glow flowed, all the savage and rumbling Yuan power in his body were actually forcefully suppressed. That finger filled with a golden glow suddenly jutted out. This time around, Lin Dong's fingertips did not crack like before. Evidently, after he gained initial mastery of Lesser Nirvana Golden Body, his physical body was able to withstand the savage impact caused by his martial art. Dong. The heavens seemed to tremble the instant Lin Dong pointed out his finger. Following which, the air above Lin Dong's head was suddenly torn apart, before a large finger, that seemed to have came from an ancient land, instantly ripped through the air and emerged. There was only half a finger, and it was not a complete finger. Nonetheless, all the Yuan power in this domain instantly erupted, before a series of alarming airwaves swept forth. Break. Lin Dong's expression was cold while a golden glow flowed in his eyes. That finger, that seemed to have came from the past, also violently stormed forth. With a terrifying speed, it directly appeared in front of that large glowing elephant. Under the bewildered stares from the crowd, two massive objects, just like meteors, tore through the sky, before they viciously clashed together in an awe-inspiring manner. Boom. The instant they clashed together, the entire earth began to shake just like an earthquake had occurred. A deafening and alarming roar echoed out, while terrifying energy shockwaves swept forth and caused the crowds, who have already distanced themselves, to quickly retreat once again. In fact, even Hai Shou and the rest, who were at half-step to Nirvana stage, turned solemn at this sight. Immediately, their figures flashed, before they leapt into mid-air. Boom. Boom. Waves of savage Yuan power shockwaves continuously swept forth, while a resplendent glow filled the point of impact. You Saint Light Empire's killing move is merely so. You shall break. Lin Dong stood upright in mid-air, while his skin was golden bright, and he seemed extremely resplendent. As he calmly stared at the point of impact, he coldly snorted before he once again jutted out his finger. As he jutted out his finger, an extremely terrifying shockwave instantly emerged from his large finger. The might and terror of a high-level manifestation martial arts was now in full display. As shockwaves gushed out from that large finger, cracks actually began to emerge on that large glowing elephant. When they saw this sight, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. "You must be dreaming if you think that you can defeat me." At the same time, Jinmu's enraged shout echoed out from within that large elephant. Following which, a deep growl sounded out, before all the yuan power gushed out from within that large glowing elephant and managed to directly intercept that half-finger that came from an ancient time. Lin Dong's expression was cold, before his body suddenly transformed into a wisp of green smoke. As his figure flashed, he immediately appeared next to that ancient large finger. Following which, the golden glow undulated on his body flowed. This was the first time that Lin Dong had fully activated his lesser nirvana golden body. Therefore, right now, his arm actually looked like it was forged from real gold. Dong. Every ounce of strength in Lin Dong's body was now concentrated on his right arm. Then, a ferocious look flashed across his face, before he waved his arm and delivered a solid punch on that large ancient finger. This punch was formed using every ounce of strength from Lin Dong's body. Thanks to this punch, even that large ancient finger shook violently. Following which, its momentum surged, before it viciously slammed against that large glowing elephant. Boom. This time around, that large glowing elephant was no longer able to defend against it. As he faced Lin Dong's all-out punch, as well as the might of that large ancient finger, a series of large cracks instantly erupted on that large glowing elephant. Finally, under countless bewildered stares from the crowd, it subsequently exploded. A hurricane shockwave, that cannot be described by words, swept forth within the bazaar before a 100-meter deep ditch directly appeared in the arena. Following which, amid that exploding large glowing elephant, a figure shot out from within. Then, he directly left a several 100-meter mark on the ground before he finally stabilized himself hideously. Countless pairs of eyes instantly turned to look. When they saw Jinmu land on the ground and directly vomit a mouthful of fresh blood, several of them instantly sucked in a soft breath. None of them had expected that Jinmu would actually be wounded by Lin Dong. The entire bazaar seemed to have turned silent immediately. In fact, even Hai Shou and the rest, who were high up in mid-air, began to turn increasingly solemn. The fact that Lin Dong could injure Jinmu indicated that he had the ability to injure them, who were also at half-step to nirvana stage. Evidently, this time around, they had misjudged the situation. At the same time, Hai Shou gently heaved a sigh of relief. If Jinmu had not made a move first, then he would have likely been the one injured. In fact, against Lin Dong's previous exceptionally powerful attack, even he did not have the confidence that he could withstand it. That fellow is actually a bastard acting like a pig to devour a tiger. A cold glint flashed across Hai Shou's eyes. It seems like there was going to be another formidable rival in the battle for the mysterious ancient key. Good kid, it's no wonder you dare to challenge Jinmu. It turns out you are actually this powerful. Based on the golden glow undulated on your body, it is evidently an extremely powerful physical enhancing martial arts. In fact, it may even be more powerful than my Steel Empire's heavenly steel body. I wonder how that fellow managed to obtain such a powerful martial arts. That tanned muscular man from Steel Empire stared in awe at this scene, while he muttered to himself. Amidst the awe-inspired and fearful stares from the crowd, Lin Dong still quietly stood in mid-air, while the aura and blood in his body began to rage violently. Thankfully, Lesser Nirvana Golden Body is extremely powerful, and it was able to gradually suppress the boiling aura and blood in his body. Else, he would have definitely suffered a huge backlash after executing that powerful attack. As he stood in mid-air, Lin Dong stared coldly at that hideous-looking Jinmu, who was desperately trying to stabilize his body. As he turned to look at the increasingly respectful stares around him, he knew that after this fight, he would have a say in this young city. A person that was able to injure a half-step to Nirvana practitioner, there were no factions that dared to underestimate him. That was the respect or that one gained from one's strength and ability. Furthermore, this was precisely what Lin Dong needed now. The bazaar was in tatters as the crowd stared in bewilderment at the scene ahead of them. For a moment, none of them could believe their eyes. Jinmu had a fairly renowned reputation in Yang City, and even though he was not the best, he was considered as an elite practitioner. However, right now, he had actually lost to Lin Dong, who was merely at advanced manifestation stage. For many of them, this was simply too hard to believe. However, regardless of how impossible it may seem, the facts laid bare in front of them and they had no other choice. Mo Ling and the rest were delighted when they saw this sight. As they lifted their heads to look at that man hovering in mid-air, admiration and respect involuntarily flowed into their hearts. Though their reputation in Great Yang Empire would not lose to Lin Dong, right now, they had no choice but to admit that there was quite a gap between them and Lin Dong. The raging Yuan power in this domain began to gradually calm down. However, it did not diminish the killing intent in Lin Dong's eyes. As he hovered in mid-air, with a trace of blood on his lips, he stared at a visibly shaken Jin Mu while his expression grew increasingly colder. Regardless, Jin Mu was indeed a genuine half-step to Nirvana stage practitioner. Based on Lin Dong's current strength, after he executed the fifth finger of Great Desolate Imprisoning Heavenly Finger, even Li Xing and countless other advanced manifestation stage practitioners were all directly butchered by him. However, that Jin Mu was able to forcefully counter against it. Furthermore, even though he was wounded, it was not a lethal one. Nonetheless, based on Lin Dong's character, as long as that person was his enemy, he would show no mercy at all. Now that he had fallen out with Jin Mu, there was no need for words. He must kill him first in order to prevent any problems from occurring in the future. While he is wounded, Lin Dong must kill him. As this thought flashed across his mind, Lin Dong's expression suddenly turned icy cold. Following which, he gripped his palm before his heavenly crocodile bone spear once again appeared in his hand. As his feet executed supreme purity sky wanderer steps, he actually dashed forth again. With his powerful spear stretched out in front of him, he directly charged at a still shaken Jin Mu. Spear shadows emerged, while a peculiar growing noise faintly sounded out from within the bone spear. In fact, those spear shadows were lethal enough to easily penetrate a peak manifestation practitioner's defenses. Kid, you dare. Jin Mu was also driven mad by Lin Dong's vicious attack. Immediately, he could no longer bother to suppress the raging aura in his body, before he waved his fiery red steel rod in his hands. Just like a ring of fire, a burning and savage shockwind quickly swept forth. Since you want to kill me, what wouldn't I dare to do? Your Saint Light Empire member used your numbers to bully others, and you guys even tried to bully me. Unfortunately, you have chosen the wrong target. Lin Dong's expression was vicious, and he did not intend to show any mercy. As he jerked his arm, formidable speak shadows viciously slammed against flame-like shield. Instantly, sparks erupted, before a terrifying energy shockwave instantly swept forth. After that vicious fight, Jin Mu was actually forced to retreat several steps. Previously, after he forcefully countered Lin Dong's finger, all the blood and aura in his body were raging and he was no longer in peak form. Therefore, when he fought against Lin Dong now, he was no longer as relaxed as before and he was in fact at the losing end. In the bazaar, when the crowd saw Jin Mu retreating, their eyelids involuntarily twitched. It was simply too hard for them to imagine how an advanced manifestation practitioner like Lin Dong could force Jin Mu, who was a half-step to Nirvana practitioner, till such a sorry extent. Jin Mu, you are at half-step to Nirvana. Is that all you are capable of? As Lin Dong continued to fight, he turned increasingly fierce while a golden glow flowed under his skin. Right now, he had completely activated his lesser Nirvana golden body. After activating it, he finally realized just how powerful this physical enhancing martial arts was. This lesser Nirvana golden body managed to increase the strength of his physical body by a terrifying extent, and it provided a tremendous boost to his defenses. The boost that he gained far exceeds that of Great Sun Thunder Body. Mid-grade physical enhancing martial arts indeed lives up to its name. Lin Dong's provocations caused Jin Mu's face to turn purple, while the raging blood and aura in his body became even more turbulent. In fact, while he was dodging Lin Dong's attacks, his body even began to slow down. Oh no. However, the instant he lagged, Jin Mu's expression suddenly changed before he quickly retreated. You plan to flee. However, just as Jin Mu was about to retreat, a figure was just like a leech as he quickly followed him. Above those vicious spear shadows, a peculiar golden glow suddenly appeared. Then, that spear jerked before it directly tore through the air before it flew via a peculiar trajectory, and forcefully penetrated the defenses set up by the fiery red steel rod in Jin Mu's hand. Die. After it penetrated his defenses, a cold glint flashed across Lin Dong's eyes. Promptly, he slammed his palm solidly against his spear, before his bone spear instantly shot forth. Then, a formidable cold glint lightning quick struck Jin Mu's chest. Against such a powerful attack, if one was directly hit by it, one would likely die. However, just as that bone spear struck Jin Mu's chest, blood did not spurt out as expected. Instead, a crisp metallic sound echoed out, before a rich fiery glow erupted from beneath Jin Mu's clothes and actually forcefully deflected Lin Dong's fatal attack. You must be dreaming if you think that you can kill me. With my flame soul vest protecting me, even a half-step to nirvana practitioner cannot kill me. Who do you think you are? Jin Mu lifted his head and stared grimly at Lin Dong while he said. Lin Dong's expression was cold as he suddenly jerked his arm. Immediately, a terrifying force gushed out just like tidal waves, before it directly blew Jin Mu away. As his body flew forth, it directly ripped through two towers. Even though Jin Mu had the protection of his so-called flame soul vest, it was unable to completely counter against Lin Dong's attack. Therefore, the invading force to his body caused him to once again spit out a mouthful of fresh blood. Furthermore, he was already wounded and this further exacerbated his injuries. Hence, if this continues on, he would probably be killed by Lin Dong today. Let's see how long you can last. Lin Dong knew this fact as well. Immediately, a killing glint flowed in his eyes. Without giving Jin Mu any time to recover, his figure flashed before he once again dashed forth. When the crowd saw this sight, all of their expressions changed. It seems like Lin Dong did not plan on merely defeating Jin Mu, and he was going to kill him as well. Protect our big senior. Right now, all the elite Saint Light Empire's members' faces changed drastically, and they were no longer able to tolerate anymore. All of them dashed forth and tried to protect Jin Mu. After all of them knew that Jin Mu was the heart of their Saint Light Empire, and if Jin Mu died, they would lose the qualifications to compete with the other empires. It is not your place to interfere. When they saw the other elite Saint Light Empire member interfering, Mo Ling and the rest's expressions turned cold. Following which, their figures flashed before they formed into a powerful formation. As streams of viscous yuan power hurled forth, they were actually able to completely intercept all the elite Saint Light Empire practitioners. Now that Mo Ling and the rest had reached peak manifestation stage, coupled with the formation imparted to them by Lin Dong, they could even fight against a half-step to nirvana stage practitioner. Furthermore, disregarding half-step to nirvana practitioners, there were hardly any peak manifestation practitioners left in Saint Light Empire. Lin Dong completely ignored those elite Saint Light Empire practitioners. In his eyes, as long as they were not at half-step to nirvana stage, he had no reason to fear at all. Therefore, his icy-cold eyes stared right at Jin Mu, while he slowly tightened the grip on his bone spear. At the same time, his killing intent stealthily rose. Hai Sho, we can be considered as allies. If my Saint Light Empire is wounded, it would also affect your chances during the fight for the mysterious ancient key. Jin Mu's expression was cold, before he suddenly turned his head and barked at mid-air. In mid-air, Hai Sho gently furrowed his brows. After contemplating for a moment, he turned to look at Lin Dong before he said, "This young friend, even if you have a grudge with Jin Mu, I believe that it is time to stop now. It is best not to burn one's bridges, and it would be beneficial for you in the future. There are several Saint Light Empire's allies in Yang City, and if you cross the line and force the other great empires to attack you together, even if you have magical abilities, it would be difficult for you to escape. Since you have just came here, I would suggest you to do so." Hai Sho's words were not too sharp, and there was a carrot and a stick contained within. Right now, he no longer dared to underestimate Lin Dong, after he witnessed a fellow half-step to nirvana stage practitioner Jin Mu be forced till such a sorry extent. Evidently, Lin Dong had the qualifications to sit on par with them, and it would be foolish for him to put on any airs. When he heard Hai Sho's words, Lin Dong's eyes narrowed. Promptly, he turned to look at a hideous Jin Mu, before his raging killing intent dimmed. He also understood that even though he was able to humiliate Jin Mu, it was quite difficult for him to kill him. Furthermore, like what Hai Sho said, Saint Light Empire has several allies in Yang City, and if they attacked him together, it would be quite troubling for him. Since someone has intervened on your behalf, I shall spare your life. If you continue to bully others in the future, I will definitely kill you." Lin Dong turned around as he casually said. When he heard his words, Jin Mu's face instantly turned steely green while his body trembled gently. However, he did not dare to speak back, and only a poisonous and venomous glint glimmered in his eyes. The fight today had undoubtedly cemented Lin Dong's reputation, while he had suffered utter and total humiliation. This was no small grudge. Lin Dong casually glanced at Jin Mu, and he also managed to detect the poisonous look in his eyes. Instantly, he secretly chuckled in his heart. After he accumulated enough nirvana pills and cleansed his blood-soul puppet, he would no longer have any reason to fear him. At that time, he would look for an opportunity to kill that fellow. The killing intent that permeated the bazaar finally diminished stealthily. After the crowd stared at a hideous and battered Jin Mu, all of them involuntarily turned to look at Lin Dong. All of them knew that after this fight, Lin Dong's name will spread across the entire young city. After all, in this city, only a half-step to Nirvana stage practitioner had the rights to speak. Therefore, since Lin Dong was able to force Jin Mu, who was a half-step to Nirvana practitioner, till such a sorry extent, he obviously possessed the same qualifications as well. Jin Mu's expression was extremely cold and insidious. In fact, one could faintly discern a twisted expression on his face as he stared venomously at Lin Dong. Even though his heart was filled with an overwhelming killing intent, he clearly knew that though Lin Dong's cultivation level was weaker than his battle ability was extremely formidable. Therefore, even for someone like him, it would be very difficult to defeat Lin Dong. Let's see how long you can be arrogant for. Sooner or later, I will make you suffer till you beg for your own death. You will definitely regret the day you offended my saint-light empire. Jin Mu gritted his teeth, as he venomously cursed in his heart in order to relieve the hatred and anger in his heart. Lin Dong chose to ignore grim-looking Jin Mu, as his eyes calmly glanced at Hai Sho, who was hovering in mid-air, with a soft and eerie smile on his face. That fellow was obviously close with Jin Mu. Based on Lin Dong's current strength, he naturally did not fear one half-step to Nirvana practitioner. However, if he was forced to fight against two of them, it would be a little troublesome for him. Of course, if it were a real life-and-death scenario, he would directly summon his blood-soul puppet and slaughter both of them. Nonetheless, unless it was truly a critical junction, Lin Dong did not want to resort to this move. Blood-soul puppet was his hidden ace, and it was best for him not to reveal it so quickly. Therefore, after Hai Sho spoke previously, he decided to stop. After the great battle ended, the atmosphere in the bazaar turned slightly strange. Since the two main actors had not left, no one dared to leave as well. This friend, do you want my great son Thunder Body for 10,000 Nirvana pills? Lin Dong's eyes suddenly turned towards that tanned muscular man from Steel Empire, before he took out his glowing tube and asked. Oh? When he saw Lin Dong's actions, that tanned muscular man was slightly taken aback. Promptly, he revealed his pearly white teeth as he laughed heartily and said, "All right, since you have given me such a generous offer, how can I turn it down?" If he had auctioned his great son Thunder Body, he could obtain at least 13,000 Nirvana pills. Now that he had offered it for 10,000 pills, it was a fairly reasonable price. Furthermore, after Lin Dong displayed his strength, that tanned muscular man was fairly appreciative of Lin Dong's talents. After all, in this area, strength reigns supreme. In fact, Hai Sho would likely no longer dare to speak to Lin Dong in such a disrespectful manner, as he had done so previously. Moreover, an additional friend would lead to more opportunities, and both Lin Dong and that tanned muscular man had the same idea in mind. Therefore, since Lin Dong had graciously offered an opportunity to form a relationship, there was no reason to reject his offer. When he saw Lin Dong's action, Hai Sho's expression turned slightly grim. After all, though he was quite keen on that great son Thunder Body, Lin Dong had chose to ignore him and directly offer it at a discounted price to someone else. This was akin to a slap on his face. However, though he felt displeased, he did not threaten Lin Dong like he had done before. That was because he was keenly aware that based on Lin Dong's strength, he had no reason to fear him at all. Here, this young friend. This is 10,000 Nirvana pills. My name is Mo Ti from Steel Empire. That tanned muscular man's figure flashed before he directly appeared next to Lin Dong. Following which, he directly handed over a Chinkuan bag before he spoke with a smile. Lin Dong. Lin Dong gently smiled as he took that Chinkuan bag. At the same time, he handed his glowing tube over. However, he did not mention which empire he was from. That was because it was completely meaningless. In this ancient battlefield, it does not matter which empire you came from. Without strength, one was useless and one's background would not help at all. When he took that Chinkuan bag, Lin Dong casually glanced at the round and fiery Nirvana pills in that bag, before his heart gradually turned heated as well. It seems like in addition to the previous Nirvana pills that he had obtained, he was close to accumulating 30,000 Nirvana pills. That's right. I have an earthly soul treasure in my possession as well. I wonder if Brother Mo Ti is interested. Since he found a customer, Lin Dong could not be bothered to continue with the auction. After all, the most pressing matter was to accumulate 30,000 Nirvana pills and refine his blood soul puppet. As he spoke, Lin Dong flipped his palm, before the Saint Light drum that he snatched from Li Xing appeared in his palm. Immediately, a powerful energy shockwave emerged. Saint Light drum, 3,000 Nirvana pills. An earthly soul treasure. When he saw this situation, Mo Ti did not feel shocked. Based on their current status, who did not have earthly soul treasures? However, none of them would mind having more treasures. At most, they could give it away to their pals, or it would provide a small boost to their strength. Therefore, when he heard Lin Dong's offer, he immediately waved his hand and unceremoniously kept that soul treasure in his bag. When he saw how forthright Mo Ti was, Lin Dong involuntarily smiled. He truly envied these rich princelings, who did not even flinch at all when they spent a few thousand Nirvana pills. Nearby, when Jin Mu saw this sight, his originally steel-green face darkened. He naturally knew that the Saint Light drum was Li Xing's soul treasure. Ha, truth be told, I am most interested in the physical enhancing martial arts that Brother Lin Dong has cultivated. If Brother Lin Dong is willing to sell it, even if I have to pawn all my possessions, I will buy it. Mo Ti stared at Lin Dong. His eyes were extremely sharp, and it was as if he could see the golden glow flowing beneath Lin Dong's skin. He also understood that the reason why Lin Dong was able to withstand the corrosive force from Jin Mu was largely because of his powerful physical enhancing martial arts. When he heard his words, Lin Dong gently raised his brows. It seems like Mo Ti's eyes were extremely sharp. Perhaps the reason why he could actually detect how powerful his lesser Nirvana golden body was because he had cultivated in physical enhancing martial arts as well. That martial arts is still incomplete. If I finish it in the future, I will consider selling it to Brother Mo Ti. Lin Dong obviously had no intention of selling his lesser Nirvana golden body. After all, he had personally experienced the might of his physical enhancing martial arts. If he sold it to someone else, it might become a major threat to him in future. Even though he had a relationship with Mo Ti, it was not a deep one. With regards to Lin Dong's answer, Mo Ti was not surprised by it. He had only mentioned it casually. After all, even their Steel Empire did not possess such a powerful physical enhancing martial arts. Therefore, how could Lin Dong be willing to put it up for sale? Brother Lin Dong, it is fate that brought us together. How about we look for a place to converse? Mo Ti changed the topic, as he asked with a smile. All right. Lin Dong did not reject his offer. Mo Ti was evidently trying to build a relationship with him, and he did not want the entire city to be filled with his enemies. Right now, since he had offended Jin Mu and Hai Shou, it would be quite beneficial if he could secure a few allies. When he saw Lin Dong respecting his offer, Mo Ti was obviously delighted. Immediately, he took charge and led the way. Under the stares of the crowd, a group of men left the bazaar. That bastard. When he saw Lin Dong's departing figure, Jin Mu was finally unable to suppress the rage in his heart, as he immediately smacked a stone chair nearby into dust. Jin Mu, that kid is no easy mark. It seems like we will have another formidable foe in the fight for the mysterious ancient key. Hai Shou gradually descended from mid-air as he casually said. What's there to be afraid of? The reason why that kid can match up against me is because of his martial arts. That martial arts must take a heavy toll on him, and it is difficult for him to keep executing it. In the future, if we have the opportunity, let's attack him together and quickly slaughter him before he even gets the chance to use his martial arts. Jin Mu venomously said. Mo Ti actually wants to form an ally with that kid. In the future, if we have the opportunity, we should attack his Steel Empire and snatch all their Nirvana pills. It would be a pretty good haul. Hai Shou chuckled as he said. Don't worry. I have allied ourselves with several powerful empires. At that time, none of them shall escape. Jin Mu slowly gripped his fists, while a venomous and poisonous glint glimmered in his eyes. I have hated that Jin Mu for a long while. It is really heartening to watch Brother Lin Dong thrash him today. On a spire in Yang City, Moti and the rest split up and sat in different tables. Meanwhile, hearty laughs emerged from the tables. Lin Dong smiled and he chose not to elaborate. The reason why Brother Lin Dong came to Yang City is because of the mysterious ancient key. When Moti saw that Lin Dong was not interested in this topic, his tone changed as he asked, "Is there anyone in Yang City who is not interested in the mysterious ancient key?" Lin Dong gently smiled as he said, "That's right. However, there are countless powerful practitioners in Yang City. Just mid-grade empires alone, there are already several of them here. Meanwhile, for low-grade empires, there are hundreds and thousands of them." Moti sighed as he said. Lin Dong gently nodded his head. The empires in East Xian region were divided into categories as well. For example, Saint Light Empire and Steel Empire are considered as mid-grade empires, while their Great Yang dynasty was at most a low-grade empire. Typically speaking, most mid-grade empires have a half-step to Nirvana stage practitioner. Therefore, it seems like there would be plenty of half-step to Nirvana stage practitioners in Yang City. Even though Lin Dong was able to match up against a half-step to Nirvana stage practitioner, he was unable to gain much edge over them. "Brother Moti, could you tell me where the mysterious ancient key will appear?" Lin Dong's eyes turned as he asked. It is no big secret in Yang City. With regards to Lin Dong, Moti had planned on building on a good relationship with him. Therefore, he chose not to conceal this matter as he directly told him, "The place where the mysterious ancient key is located at is the Thunder Granite Mountain range near Yang City. However, there are countless demonic beasts in that mountain range, and some of them are able to match up to a half-step to Nirvana stage practitioner. In fact, in the deepest regions, there are even Nirvana stage demonic beasts." Nirvana stage demonic beasts. Lin Dong's heart shuddered. It seems like it would be no easy feat to obtain the mysterious ancient key. Besides competing with so many other empires, they had to worry about powerful demonic beasts as well. Deep inside the Thunder Granite Mountain range, there is a Thunder Mountain Valley. It is reputed that this Thunder Mountain Valley is a place where an ancient elite practitioner trained at, and that ancient elite practitioner is one of the guardians protecting the mysterious ancient key. Therefore, the mysterious ancient key should be hidden in that Thunder Granite Valley. Not long ago, a half-step to Nirvana stage practitioner, who is extremely adept at concealing himself, sneaked into the Thunder Granite Valley. It is reputed that there are numerous precious treasures, martial arts, elixirs, soul treasures, and even the legendary heavenly symbol deity tree. As long as one is able to refine it, it will allow those high-grade symbol masters to make another breakthrough and advance to heaven symbol masters. At that time, they would become powerful enough to match up to a Nirvana stage practitioner. Heavenly symbol deity tree. When these four words entered into his ears, Lin Dong's mind instantly buzzed. Promptly, awe and delight surged into his eyes. The heaven symbol spirit tree was a type of unique spiritual being. For symbol masters that cultivated mental energy, it was undoubtedly a godlike existence. It was said that if a high-rank soul symbol master was able to refine it, he would very likely be able to cross that crucial step and reach the realm of the heaven symbol master. A heaven symbol master was equivalent to a Nirvana stage practitioner. Moreover, the heaven symbol master and soul symbol master were two entirely different levels. If one would say that a soul symbol master was stuck at the superficial usage of mental energy, a heaven symbol master would be known as one that had truly reached the next level. It was said that some powerful heaven symbol masters were able to condense mental energy into miraculous symbols and move the power of the land with a single gesture. They possessed great power, and even a Nirvana stage practitioner would find a heaven symbol master a rather troublesome opponent. Because, after becoming a heaven symbol master, one's mental energy would strengthen, as if it had undergone a metamorphosis, and its power cannot be compared to before. Hence, when Lin Dong heard that there was actually legendary object like the heaven symbol spirit tree in the Thunder Granite Valley, even with his composure, he could not help but feel a little hard to breathe. If he was able to obtain this heaven symbol spirit tree, he would have a great chance to attack the heaven symbol master level. As long as he reached this realm, even if he encountered a true Nirvana stage practitioner in future, he would have the power to contend even without using the blood soul puppet. From his current point of view, just the law of this heaven symbol spirit tree alone was enough to entice him to brave countless difficulties and dangers to enter the Thunder Granite Valley. There are already many soul symbol masters who have been drawn over. Their target is the heaven symbol spirit tree. Moreover, although it is said that this object is not much of an attraction for us, If we are able to obtain it and sell it to those soul symbol masters, it would likely be worth 100,000 nirvana pills. Upon seeing the fire in Lin Dong's eyes, Mo Tai did not find this unexpected. After all, this heaven symbol spirit tree was too valuable, and it was difficult to find someone who would not be tempted. To one side, when the Mo Ling trio heard this number, their expressions changed somewhat. 100,000 nirvana pills. Even if they overturned the royal family's treasury, they would barely be able to gather such a sum. To think that this heaven symbol spirit tree was actually so valuable. Lin Dong nodded his head. He knew that this price was still underrated. As long as one was able to reach the realm of the heaven symbol master, one would be able to contend against nirvana stage practitioners. One must know that for these practitioners to advance to the nirvana stage, the price they needed to pay was not as simple as 100,000 nirvana pills. Thus, the fact that one could purchase this heaven symbol spirit tree for 100,000 nirvana pills should already make one burn incense and thank one's ancestors for such a windfall. Though there are numerous treasures within the Thunder Granite Valley, it is a dangerous place. Not only are there various powerful demonic beasts guarding the place, there are also different types of seals. If one by some ill luck charges into the seal, one would be unable to leave. Although the half-stepped nirvana practitioner from that time successfully entered, he was poisoned while returning and lost his life not long after. Mo Tai sighed and said. Lin Dong did not find this unexpected. The ancient battlefield was not a kind place. There were admittedly many treasure troves within, but if one did not have the capability, one might as well obediently find a spot and refine nirvana pills. To come looking for treasure troves in these places would be akin to looking for death. There are currently so many powerful practitioners in Yang City, there should not be a problem dealing with the numerous demonic beasts in the Thunder Granite Mountain range, right? Mo Ling chuckled and asked. They are able to deal with the demonic beasts, however, they will become even more terrifying than demonic beasts in front of treasures. Mo Tai strangely laughed in reply. Mo Ling was a little taken aback. Soon after he slowly nodded his head. Indeed, though demonic beasts were ferocious, humans were even more strange and cunning. There is no knowing what is in a man's heart, and no one can know what another is thinking. Perhaps, they might be allies in this moment, but in the next, the other party would have already thrust a dagger into your heart. Brother Mo Tai, I wonder if there is a high-rank empire in Yang City. Lin Dong smiled a little and suddenly inquired. Given his current cards, his greatest fear would naturally be nirvana stage practitioners. Such characters should not appear in ordinary middle-rank empires. Since this was so, there were only those more powerful high-rank empires. There were definitely true blue nirvana stage practitioners within this kind of empire. No high-rank empires have arrived at Yang City, however. This does not mean that no high-rank empires will appear in the fight for the ancient secret key. According to what I know, news of this has already spread. The ancient secret treasure trove is not ordinary treasure trove, even those high-rank empires would drool a little over it. No one can say for sure that there are no high-rank empire already secretly hiding in the mountain range, waiting for the final moment to act. Mo Tai shook his head as he answered. Lin Dong slowly nodded his head. Looks like this struggle for the ancient secret key was indeed extremely intense. It will be rather difficult to successfully obtain it. In the following time, Lin Dong once again probed for some information, while Mo Tai was not stingy with what he knew so as to build their relationship. After both parties freely talked for a long while, Lin Dong finally got up and bid his farewells. Brother Lin Dong, the people from Yang City will gather and enter Thunder Granite Valley in 5 days. At that time, we can travel together so we can take care of each other along the way. When he saw Lin Dong stand up, Mo Tai chuckled and said. Sure, sounds good. Goodbye. Lin Dong grinned as he nodded his head and clasped his hands together towards Mo Tai before turning around, bringing the Mo Ling trio with him as they left. As he watched their leaving figures, Mo Tai's eyes slightly narrowed while his gaze flickered. No one knew what he was thinking. Lin Dong and gang traveled through the city, rushing towards their resting area. Mo Ling followed behind Lin Dong, casting a glance to their backs before suddenly asking, You plan on working together with that fellow? Can't really be considered as working together, more like having mutual needs. Of course, I am not so foolish as to trust him. As he said, you can trust no one, but your own people in front of that kind of treasure. Him wanting to rope us in can only be to gather a few more bargaining chips and battle power. When it truly comes to collecting the treasure, No one will know if he will fall out with us. Lin Dong faintly smiled. Upon hearing this, Mo Ling sighed in relief. He was worried that Lin Dong would end up a gun in that fellow's hands, but from the looks of it, Lin Dong seemed to understand the situation more clearly than himself. Lin Dong chuckled as he looked outside the city. The never-ending mountain range rose up and down like a great beast, while emitting a heart-palpitating aura. From the information he had obtained from Mo Tai, Lin Dong clearly understood exactly how difficult it was to successfully win the ancient secret key. With his current strength, it was already rather taxing to handle some of the powerful middle-rank empires, and no could say for certain whether the even more powerful high-rank empire would appear in this battle. Fortunately, the Nirvana pills have already been gathered. Within these 5 days, I need to purify the blood soul puppet. Only then will I truly possess another trump card. Lin Dong's fight slowly clenched tightly. The yet-to-be-purified blood soul puppet was akin to a bomb. If he encountered Nirvana stage practitioners, he would need to split some attention to suppress the blood soul puppet's baleful aura so as to prevent losing control. Thus, this was obviously not a favorable situation for himself. Only by thoroughly purifying the blood soul puppet's baleful aura would this thing become the greatest force in his hands, while also giving him the power to deal with those Nirvana stage practitioners. The night gradually enveloped the land. However, the enormous city did not turn quiet due to this, but instead became increasingly noisy. Light from the fire soared in the skies, illuminating the area in a 100-mile radius. In the face of such a city, even the demonic beasts did not dare to come as they wish. Although they were ferocious, they still after all possessed some intelligence, and hence would not easily take such risks. Lin Dong and his party's lodging was in a district that was considered as rather remote in the city. This was what Lin Dong needed. There would likely be quite a disturbance if he purified the blood soul puppet. If it happened to be picked up by other practitioners, it would draw a huge amount of trouble. A blood soul puppet that was able to contend against a Nirvana stage practitioner. Its value would likely turn even those high-rank empires red-eyed, let alone these middle-rank empires in Yang City. At that time, they would likely go crazy and charge at Lin Dong one by one, causing him to feel reluctant to kill. In the tightly shut stone room, a gentle light spread outwards, forming an inverted image that flickered on the ground. Lin Dong silently sat on the stone bed, his eyes closed as he adjusted his condition. He intended to purify the blood soul puppet tonight. This unstable bomb could be considered a thorn in his heart, and he would be unable to rest easy until he dealt with it. Now that he had painstakingly managed to gather the needed Nirvana pills, he would first solve this problem at all costs. At this moment, little Martin swept out from Lin Dong's body. Its claws danced as circles of purplish-black light gushed out, completely wrapping the stone room. I've sealed the room, any disturbance here will not spread outside, this way, you can relax and purify the blood soul puppet. Little Martin waved its claws and said. All right, summon the blood soul puppet. Heh, I'm waiting to see how fierce that thing can be today. Okay. Lin Dong wore a serious expression as he nodded his head. Soon after, he deeply inhaled as a gentle pillar of light shot out from the stone talisman in the center of his palm. A blood light burst out from within the light pillar, and transformed into a blood-red figure that appeared in the stone room. Boom. As the blood-red figure appeared, a shockingly baleful aura instantly spread outwards, causing one to feel as if one was in a torrential sea of blood. The stone talisman flew out from Lin Dong's palm, and continuously shot out rays of gentle light, which enveloped the blood figure, and suppressed its surging baleful aura. Furthermore, the black light poured out from heavy prison peak above it, pushing down on the blood soul puppet, so as to avoid it going out of control. Roar! However, even with these two powerful forces, a savage glint still flowed in its eyes when the blood soul puppet was summoned, while a roar akin to a wild beast burst out from its throat. Humph, it's not your turn to behave badly. Watch how Grandpa Martin takes care of you. Little Martin coldly snorted. It waved its claw as a chinkuan bag flew out from Lin Dong's sleeve before thousands upon thousands of round Nirvana pills poured out under Lin Dong's pain-filled gaze. They were clearly going to bring out the big guns this time. This video will end here.